Hi, my name is Leslie Williams, and I'm in San Diego, California. And excuse me, but I'm a little video shy sometimes. And I'm hiking out in California. I'm saving for a mobile home. And this video is going to be what is known as a personal video. A video that I am going to make in reference to sharing some personal information to you, any viewer that watches this, in reference to who I am in part, what has happened to me in part, along with what has also happened to my fellow targets, just a few that I'll mention, and why it's happening, and what has been discovered in reference to how these things are brought about, and who in part plays a role in it. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the crimes of what is known as organized stalking, which is also called gang stalking. Now, I have made a lot of videos concerning who I am, and some of the past events, videos that were made in current time in reference to the times that they were made. And I also make videos that are prediction videos in reference to what might occur as a result of me being a victim of this crime as well. And so what this is going to be is this is going to be an unedited video in reference to just opening up and talking about these crimes that have happened to me and my fellow targets. And in other words, it's not a video that has a template in reference to specific items I wanted to cover. I'm just going to open up and talk about some of the things that have happened to me, my fellow targets, some cooperating material that you can research for yourself on your own, so you can make heads and tails in reference to some of the descriptions that I discuss and the experiences that I state. Now, I'm a good woman. I'm not involved in any illegal activity whatsoever. And what I have discovered over time is that this is organized crime that is in the system. And you can thoroughly research what gang stalking is just by going to the internet at YouTube and Google, okay? And in order for you to be able to get a comprehensive understanding concerning what kind of crime it is, who's involved, what's happened to us targets, how us targets can get no help from the government, the things that us targets have discovered over time as a result of education, research, and experience. And when you thoroughly and in-depthly research these criminal activities that are brought about against innocent American citizens, then you should be able to clearly deduce that these crimes are happening as a result of it being organized crime in the system at the military, federal, and state and local level. And concerning also the type of employment descriptions that are used in these crimes. Now, I want to make a statement right off the bat. I don't believe that every single person in our government, including the alphabet agencies, are bad people. Okay, that includes police officers that are involved in, because some entire police departments have been taken over. Okay, there's a manifesto that you can find by going to the internet of a manager of gang stalking crews, and that manifesto can be found by going to Google and typing in a gang stalking tech. Everything you need to know. It's a manifesto of a manager of gang stalking crews who went offline, typed in who they are, who they're connected to, how they operate in part, and what they're all about in part. And he then went to an internet cafe. I think it's a man. It could be a woman, though, because in the manifesto, manograms are discussed. And so that leads me to believe that it was written by a woman. And from what it sounds like, this woman was possibly a previous target before she became a manager of gang stalking. And the only way that you're going to be able to make thorough heads and tails of that manifesto is to do research concerning what gang stalking is at Google and YouTube extensively. These crimes are directly connected to every single type of crime that you can think of, and crimes that are happening to us targets and future potential targets concerning some of the technological resources that these expeditions have that the public is not aware of at all. One bit, okay? And so the only way that you're going to be able to make heads and tails of some of the motivations of the reasons why they do what they do is to have a thorough understanding in reference to, I'm looking for a book while I'm talking to you, so just bear with me for a minute, is to go to the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance and look on the bottom of their homepage. You'll find at the very, very bottom, you'll find 3 PDF links. One is remote neural monitoring, the other one is the microwave hearing effect, and the third one has to do with directed energy weapons. And the best thing to do if you feel inclined to research these criminal expeditions and everything that you will discover as a result, the best thing to do is to print out the manifesto and these 3 PDF links. Because the only way that you're going to be able to thoroughly understand everything that happens to us targets and the manifesto is to do extensive research. So I'm going to spit out to you right now some cooperating material that you can find on specific websites. The first one being surveillancesissues.com. The second one being UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com, because these expeditions are going on worldwide, but most of the technological resources connected to these expeditions were developed by the military in the United States. And make no mistake about it, this does not mean that this is a reflection on every veteran or any active or current military personnel, because there are a lot of good people in the military, okay? And this is by no means, by my statements concerning how this technology was developed in the military is not a reflection concerning the entire military as you know, in itself, because it's not. What we got to understand here is that people are people, okay? One person is different from another person. So just because these criminal expeditions are at every level in our government, including in our military, does not mean that every single military personnel, every member of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DOD, and what have you, is part of these expeditions, because they're not. In fact, from some of my research that I have done, which is pretty extensive, including research of other individuals who have done research concerning these technological resources, even at the PhD level and beyond, have noted that a lot of people who are in these agencies and in these different branches of government would love to be able to point the finger and whistleblow concerning what they know concerning these expeditions, but they're afraid to. Julian McKinney is one person who has done an outstanding job in reference to how she has got online, done radio interviews, and has posted. She's got some links online in reference to, well, some links have been made concerning some of the things that she has exposed. And she was in Army intelligence. So this should give you an example right away that not every single person that's in these alphabet agencies, the military, or at the state and local level are bad people. A lot of people that would like to be able to get rid of these criminal expeditions are afraid to do so because of retaliation. Yes. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Sorry, I dropped my camera. Okay, now what I'm going to do right now. Oh, and when you go to UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com, type that in at Google and at YouTube, okay? And try and also look for the older implant diagram that UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com did by Googling it until you find the older implant diagram, and you'll know which one is the older once you look at the new one. Because once you start looking for the older one, you'll be able to see it's different from the one that's currently on their website. Also, some other good information for you to scrutinize is go to YouTube and type in John Hall Satellite Terrorism. Listen to every single one of his videos, every single one of them. Now, what we have to understand here is that us targeted individuals have been covered on national news broadcasts. We have been covered on local news broadcasts. We've been covered on national radio programs. Jesse Ventura did a show on us titled Jesse Ventura, The Brain Invaders Conspiracy Theory. And an individual by the name of Robert Becker, who is an ex-DOD and CIA scientist, is in that conspiracy theory show towards the end of it. And he literally flat out states that us targeted individuals are not being abused, that we are literally being tortured. And Robert Becker is the first person that is mentioned in the resources feature of the remote neural monitoring file that you can find at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. And to give you another just sidebar illustration in reference to another attachment to these crimes, a sub-issue that is very relevant is neural implantation. And you'll discover that just by going to Google and typing in gang stalking or organized stalking and neural implantation. Ocular implantation, TCI, BCI, STI implants. Yes, because we are also used for human experimentation, and that is also in part, along with these other technological resources that I've already labeled to you, described to you, is how we're being tortured, in part. This is a book right here titled Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape, Technology, Gang Stalking at the Post Office, by this person, the person who is the author of this book. This name right here is not her real name. But understand this and be clear. You can buy this book at Amazon. But if you go to Google and type in Victoria Rose, okay, she was a San Diego, California, Chula Vista, California target. Remote neural, she made this documentation file. Remote neural monitoring is mentioned right below her name. Everything that Victoria Rose describes in her documentation file is described by a second target who wrote this book. Okay, so here we also have another book that I just recently bought titled The Invisible Crime. You notice the implant in the back of this individual's head. It's based on a true story, and this individual was covered on Coast to Coast with George Norrie and Roger Tulsis on 2/14/13, and you could probably YouTube it and find it in reference to the radio interview and what happened to him. Gang stalking is mentioned extensively within this book concerning how this individual, who is targeted with neural implantations throughout many, many parts of his body, talks about gang stalking extensively in this book. He also talks about how he had to go through about 6 apartments to try and escape from it, and he couldn't, just like every other targeted individual. Gang stalking is directly mentioned in the title of this book. Okay, and when you research UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com, and you'll see gang stalking thoroughly mentioned on that website. John Hall Satellite Terrorism in-depthly talks about remote neural monitoring and gang stalking, how they're combined. V2K is another technological research, which is basically nothing but the microwave hearing effect. And synthetic telepathy is another one. Now, when you're, like I said, you know, if you're hearing these descriptions for the first time, you might think to yourself, what the hell is all this? You know, which is understandable. I was a victim of this crime at least since 1980 and didn't have a clue. I knew my life was experiencing very, very bad circumstances. I felt like I was walking around my entire life with a black cloud over my head. I couldn't understand why every time something bad happened and then I recovered from it, like in reference to just picking up myself from the bootstraps, getting another job, getting another car, and then having that taken away from me again, I couldn't figure out why all this was happening to me. But in the back of my head, I always knew that there was more to this than just simply bad luck. It was because I've been gang stalked. Really, actually, I'll put it to you this way. I already know for a fact that my family is involved in gang stalking. And basically, from what it looks like, I gotta be careful about what I say, because the government will use what I say against me. Okay, but my family comes from military. My father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. I have retired NASA in my family, retired high-ranking Air Force, and my ex-husband was a submarine radar antenna electrician, an E5, when I was married to him out here in San Diego back in '83 and '84. And submarine radar antennas are directly connected to what is known as the microwave auditory effect. Do your research and you will come to understand that that is a factual reality. He was put in my life deliberately for me to meet him, date him, and marry him for trauma purposes, and I guess more than likely to probably be used, you know, for sex. Mostly for trauma though, okay? So here's the thing, you know, there is a lot that has happened to me in my life, even as a child, that is connected to these crimes, but I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it until I get proof. Because without the proof, the government will use what I say against me to try and either put me in an institution, psychiatric ward, group home, or jail. Because this is literally the lengths of how evil the government will be. Literally. Let me tell you something right now. If the government will torture you, okay, if they will neurally implant you, okay, to exploit you and to use you as nothing but a lab rat, and then also tear apart every aspect of your personal independence to make sure that you're kept in these campaigns, isolated from help, isolated from normal social relationships, isolated from uncorrupted legal assistance. Do you honestly believe for 1 second they will not take a whistleblower like me or anybody else who's got educated knowledge concerning these crimes and try to institutionalize them or set them up to be murdered? You're wrong. They will, in a hot flash second. Let me tell you something right now. Our government does, when it comes to these expeditions, our government does not care one bit about us. And one of the other aspirations concerning these criminal expeditions is human trafficking and brain entrainment for same. So a person can literally be neurally enslaved using this technology. Go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. bioethics issues, okay? He talks about neurocognitive weapons and brain entrainment. Right now in my backpack, I have a paid-for class action lawsuit that I paid for online from Find a Case concerning a class action lawsuit from Ohio concerning a bunch of individuals who were being subject to remote neural monitoring being used on them for human trafficking. And there's also other information online showing that it's even being used in India for the same thing, neural enslavement. And when you come to understand what brain entrainment is, and remote neural monitoring, remote neural influencing, and remote neural stimulating, you will be able to come to understand how it can be used to literally neurally enslave somebody. Yes, by entraining neural networks, identifying the resonance frequency of them, and then using remote neural monitoring to stimulate them back into current consciousness in real time to be rethought out and reacted upon. A sexual slave. Neural enslavement. Yes. And since it is an invisible crime, because remote neural monitoring is used from a distance, how can the target get any help? And since, from what it appears, the government watches every target, okay, through the stalking and the surveillance, if they try to get an implant taken out, from what the internet is saying is that there are certain alphabet agencies who will threaten the doctors and the hospitals to make sure they never get taken out. So this is how much our government cares for us. They don't, not one bit. Do you have any idea the sexual transmitted diseases that come from human trafficking? Do you have any idea concerning the fact that they will literally even set up a target to be arrested or put it in an institution and continue the torture, the human experimentation, rapes, and gang stalking in these places? Jails, institutions, group homes, yes, prisons, jails, hospital floors, psychiatric wards. They will literally continue the torture, the gang stalking, and the human experimentation in these places because they're isolated. Yes, they will set up to make it look like the target is out of control in these places by provoking them in front of a video camera. You would not believe what I know. Go to YouTube and type in "learning disabled woman brutally assaulted on MTS bus." Yeah, then look in the description of that YouTube video. You'll see a blog. Copy that blog's URL address into any search engine and then go into it. There's an attached PDF link that's titled Assault 11. It'll show you an email file that was printed and scanned, put into a PDF form, attached into the blog, and that email shows you I predicted that assault 11 days before it occurred. Then go to Google and type in "learning disabled woman exposes how MTS video is altered." Then go to YouTube and type in "learning disabled woman catches gang stalker admitting sent to harass." Then go to YouTube and look at what's in the description of that YouTube video. Cross-reference the statements of both videos, because there's a YouTube video in the description of that one, and cross-reference the statements to the published dates. Then go to YouTube and type in "learning disabled woman catches another gang stalker admitting sent to harass." I am literally gang stalked along all of my routes and harassed along all of my routes. And right now, currently in space and time, I have over 500 audio files that show that I'm being gang stalked undisputably. But who do I get help from? I can't get no help because of the legal instruments that are protecting these crimes and the legislation that has been created, passed to protect them. Not one target can get any help. Go to YouTube and type in Connie Marshall, targeted individual, James Wahlberg, David Larson, Leslie Crawford, Jesus Mendoza. There's an individual by the last name of Raven. We're all over the internet. Thousands of signatures on hundreds of petitions. Everybody in every state, and in reference to hundreds of targets in each state begging for help, and none of us can get no help. So the only thing I can do is tell you, fellow American citizens, fellow Californians, and fellow San Diegoans, is that they're doing this to anybody who they think that they can do this to and get away with it. The vulnerable, like minorities, the elderly, single women, single mothers, people on disability, and they're into all different types of organized crime motivations. You would not believe it, of what I know. And so the only thing I can do is direct you to descriptions that will help you understand these crimes, direct you to some of the proof to help you see this crime is happening to me, and how they will protect the businesses and the universities and the public libraries they use to engage in gang stalking towards me and my fellow targets. Yes, because they literally sent out what is known as the community notification. And as a result of this community notification, gang stalking targets are tracked and surveilled everywhere they go, and everywhere they go, they are harassed through organized gang stalking sensitization methods by business employees, management, security personnel of business plazas. Yes, transportation routes, that means bus routes and trolley routes, bus stops and trolley stations, banks, post offices, restaurants, movie theaters, you name it, universities, public libraries. We're talking about the employees of these places and their securities, because it's organized crime in the system that is using the system to perpetrate these crimes, manage them, and protect them at every level in the places that they use to do it. And so we can't get no help. So what we do is we get smart, is we get online and we post the truth, so you can know the truth concerning what's happening to innocent individuals. And the only thing that I can do is, again, steer you to these descriptions so you can research it, synthesize the information, and then we'll scrutinize the information, synthesize it, complete a whole picture concerning it, and you will come to see that every single target in reference to their YouTube videos and their blogs are telling you the truth. And then you can just sit back and look in your mind's eye and think to yourself, you're paying your taxes on a daily basis to pay the pensions, the salaries, and for the insurance of the district attorney's office members who are involved in these campaigns, the state attorney's office members who are involved in these campaigns, the city's attorney's office that are involved in these campaigns, the police officers that are, the firefighters that are, the doctors and neighborhood hospitals that are, social service workers that are, and corrupt county mental health. And your paycheck, your payroll taxes are paying literally for torture. Literal human beings are being used for non-consensual human experimentation concerning these crimes, human trafficking, sexual servitude rings, slavery, mortgage co-opting, land co-opting, trust fund liquidation, identity theft. You would not believe what happens to us. Yeah, they get landlords and property owners on board to evict us. Yeah, postal employees on board to steal our rent or delay it, and steal and delay other rent. Yeah, I can't even ask for anybody for help to send me any money because they'll steal it, because my mail's being monitored. Look at this book, Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape, Technology, and Gang Stalking at the Post Office. This is concerning a targeted individual who's a postal worker. I have undisputable proof that I am a victim of this crime. My name is Leslie Williams. I am in San Diego, California. I am not involved in one bit of illegal activity whatsoever. I am not crazy in any way, shape, or form, and my behavior is appropriate for each and every environment that I go to, and for the whole duration while I'm there. I am literally still being gang stalked and subject to overt census treatment methods still by MTS employees on a daily basis, people that get on bus routes and trolley routes, along all of my Ralph's grocery stores, by their employees, management, and people coming in acting as customers, the security of the plazas where Ralph's is at, and how they're protecting the Ralph's store in reference to these expeditions. Yeah, they'll even stage an event towards me at these places, including even my hiking place, to use that event to call the police so the police can come out to at least evict me from the hiking area or a business. Yeah, or to give me a ticket for trespassing, or even possibly even arrest me, because the person they're using for these staged events is, they can also plant the witnesses as well. And that's flat out mentioned in this book, and I've been saying it all along. Literally, these are the literal schemes that these people go to. And I'm here today to tell you right now, fellow American citizens, Medicare workers are mentioned in the manifesto I mentioned at the beginning of this video file. And they will take me off of Social Security in order to exploit the circumstances that are created from the financial destitution as a result. So they can try and steer me into environments they can influence and control for an outcome. Staged events for a stage. What they are is they're staged events for resulting results, in order to steer they're framing the situation to frame the result. And this is how they operate. And they try to make every single bit of it look like normal appearing reasons, normal appearing excuses, or normal appearing decisions. It's organized crime in the system. I have been gaslighted by so many Social Security offices now in 3 separate states, right to my face. Yeah. So the only thing I can do is tell you, fellow American citizens, the truth, so you'll know the truth for what it is. You would not believe what they're doing to the elderly. It's just you would not believe what I know. Agenda 21 is also connected to these crimes as well. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California, and this filing statement is a factual reality. I will never leave the state of California or the San Diego County. So I want you to know, if my videos stop and I disappear, the San Diego Police, Eastern and Western Division police officers, Internal Affairs, the city's attorney's office, the district attorney's office, and more than likely now the state attorney, because I emailed her and got no reply whatsoever. And there's multiple targets right now currently in San Diego. Sylvia L. Morales, Marie Shahan. Google those and YouTube those 2 names, and none of us are getting no help. Petitions are all over the internet. So why aren't we getting help? So, at the end of the day, when you pay your taxes and you go without, or when you have fears concerning the fact that you had to pay your taxes and now you have less money in your pocket, think about where this money is going and whose salary, pension, and insurance it's paying for. Organized crime in the system that's victimizing innocent human beings for the worst criminal aspirations that your mind can conceive. I make these videos to inform, to expose the truth, and in closing, I just want to make one statement to you. Do you have any idea what they're doing to the children of targets? They end up in pedophile rings, syndicated foster homes where they're treated like straw people and abused. Yes, including sexual abuse. And this is how bad it is. I already know it for a fact. My name is Leslie Williams. I make this video, and the only thing that I ask you to do is listen to it. Hopefully you'll research it so you can possibly protect yourself and your family, because these expeditions are getting a lot more wide in scope in each community, in each state in the United States. And so you can maybe say a prayer for me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.